กายที่เธอมองเห็นว่างามสุดท้ายความเสื่อมทรามจะมาพรากไปร่วงโรยลงในสายทานยามการเวลาหมุนไปชีวิตต้องแตกสลายไม่มีเที่ยงแท้ผมเส้นงามถึงคราวร่วงไปแขนขาที่เคยว่องไวกลับไร้เรี่ยวแรงโรคภัยเฝ้าคอยคุกคามติดตามไปในทุกแห่งเกิดแก่เจ็บตายสำแดงเป็นธรรมดาหากเธอมองทุกการเกิดมาที่มีอย่างลึกซึ้ง
Good morning, Honorable Chanda.
Morning, Aja.
Good morning. And how the weather is in MCU? How the weather is over there? In Bangkok also quite cold. Wait a little bit long for another frame. Good morning to everyone. Where are the other frame? Very few students are joining. What happened is the weather so cold for today is or just normal? I'm not quite sure. But I myself feel a little bit more cold. I have to wear 2 sweaters in the night. And up to now, I still wear the sweaters. These kinds of the climate, I was thinking about 35 years ago. I was in the Sivalinga, the most highest Himalayan mountain, the part of India. That part of India is the most attractive for the tourist area. We call the Sivalinga. That way is we have to go through the Haridwar. When we go to Haridwar and we have to take a local bus or local jeep from the Haridwar and up to Gangotri. Up to Gangotri is then we have to go by only donkey, not allow on road to go by car. We have to go on foot along with the donkey carrying the stuff. That is the most top and highest parts of India. The same regional area of the Burina and some other peaks that the most significant for the Hinduism. Those days I have to wear this sweater because of the very cold. And those days is not much snow, but on the top of the Sivalinga, especially for the place that we call Komuk. The Komuks is the, if we translate into modern language, the Komuk is belong to two languages, that Sanskrit and Pali. Mukha meaning the face, Ko meaning the cow, Komuk mean the head or the face of the cow. The part of the snow is probably billions of years in this part of the startings of the Ganges River in parts of India. We call Komuk. And we have been there. We have been there with the weather is very cold, almost 4 o'clock in the evening. The weather is very much cold like this. And I wear this sweater that's about 34, 35 years ago. But what I have seen from the panorama in this day, about 4 or 5 years ago, panorama, the make a documentary about the Himalayan mountain. Those parts of the snow, it was green in those days, but now the area is changed. The snow no more green, and the snow have melted a lot. That means that area have changed a lot. This is reminding me about the Himalayan mountain about 30 to 35 years ago when I was in India. And the weather's right now, I'm not quite sure. You are in the campus of the MCU, how the weather is over there. Today, we could exchange our attitude about the climate before another friend joining. During we are waiting for the other friend to join for our class, I would like to invite some of you here are available. We are 6, 7 along with me, and I will start from Venerable Achinsun Dara. How's the weather in the MCU for today, sir? Did you hear me, Venerable uh, Achinsun Dara? Did you turn on the microphone?
Yes, Ajahn.
Oh,
I'm here. My computer is a little error, Ajahn. Please wait for me.
okay. And how the weather in the MCU for today? In Bangkok, also the weather is still cold, but maybe I'm abnormal a little bit. I have to wear two sweaters in the night, and up to now, I still wear the sweater. And I would like you to explain about the campus in MCU at Wang Noi. how the climate over there. Maybe the Venerable Achin Sundara is not very well. Anyone's ready to talk about the climate over there? Now the Venerable Achin Sundara join again.
Yes, Ajahn.
Yes. Could you explain? Could you describe about the weathers in MCU at the campus? But today, what is the weathers? How about the climate over there?
Ajahn, just now I am in Myanmar.
Oh, are you in Myanmar? Oh, sorry.
Yes, Ajahn,
Oh,
I am in Myanmar. I'm not in MCU.
oh,
When I
sorry.
come,
Which
when I
part of
come,
Myanmar are you now?
yes, I'm in Myanmar.
Which part? In which state? Chan State, Yangkung,
Uh, my Arakan State, Ajahn.
Arakan,
Yes.
Arakan State. How the weathers over there, sir?
What's Ajahn?
How is the weathers over there? Is cold,
In this morning is very good, Ajahn.
very good, not so cold.
What, Ajahn?
Not so cold over there.
Not so cold, Ajahn. But early in the morning a little cold, but just now is good.
It's good.
Most of people can stay here for in the morning.
I see. Even in Bangkok also today is cold. It's wonder that I never got this much cold in Bangkok.
Yes.
But this year it seemed to be very, very cold. And I have seen a lot of situations around the world that, for example, like Japan
Yes.
have a lot of snowstorm.
Yes.
That's mean the people suffering a lot, I think. But I wonder that in Myanmar, uh, the weather is not so cold. Which part of Myanmar the snow are falling usually in Myanmar?
In Myanmar, I think it's very good more than other states. It's very good. The Shan State is very good, Ajahn.
Oh, Chan State. But
Yes.
which state that snow falling? Some in the hill.
Maybe it's near the Shan State, but I don't know its name.
Or near to the Chan State, the
Yes.
snow falling. How many months the snow keep on top of the mountain? How many
Many,
months?
Ajahn.
Huh?
Many.
Many months?
Yes.
Maybe near to the Nepal or near to India or near to China.
Near China,
Near
Ajahn.
China, Ajahn. Near
Or
China.
near to China.
Near
North
China,
of
and then
Myanmar, Ajahn.
The
It's called
venerable,
Buddha City.
the venerable Wind Studio, right?
Yes, it's
Uh,
in north of Myanmar. It's
in the
called
north,
Buddha
in the north,
Milk.
northern.
Yes,
And how
yes,
many months
northern.
the snow keep on top of the mountain
In spring.
in spring?
Yes,
How many
spring.
months?
Yes,
Maybe like from which
maybe.
month? From January or
Yes.
from October? Sorry, from December?
From I'm not sure, Ajahn. Maybe 3 months or 4 months.
About
Not
3
sure.
to 4 months. Can you touch the snow or you can see only on the top of the mountain?
Yes, we can touch snow fall down on the village. Yes.
In a village
Yes,
also.
yes, in village,
Uh,
in the
in the
school.
village
usually,
and everywhere.
which months? Usually, which month is start?
Like this time, Ajahn, this time.
This time, December, January, like this. Okay. Maybe in the
Yes,
future, I
December,
thought that
January.
I may once visiting to your state.
Yes,
I would like to see the
yes,
snow, but
welcome.
I have seen already the snow in part of India. For example, like in Sivalinga, Koromok, Barinath, and Dharamsala over there. but
Oh.
I never seen the part of the snow in Myanmar.
Ajahn, how about in Thailand?
Thailand is the most cold is in we call Doi Intanon. Sorry, we call Doi Angkang. Doi Angkang is no snow, but it's very cold. For example, suppose I carry the camera tripod. I could not hold on my tripod with the empty hand without the very thick cloth. That cold, but no snow in the part of the Doi Angkang is Chiang Mai
Yes.
regional area. I think that the weather is the most very cold, the most cold in Thailand. But I have heard about the snow in Myanmar, but I never seen, and I have no idea which state, because some people been there and took some photography, and then I have seen, but I not quite sure which part of the state, which state. But now each chance state can be uh, visiting, right? Thank you for the information. How about the venerable? Someone live in campus in MCU for today?
Very cold, Ajahn. Today
Cold
morning, very cold.
very cold in the campus.
Yes.
Yeah, because I thought that the Wang Noi or the campus we call the northern part of Bangkok. That is we call the gate of the wind. The gate of the wind, the winter wind. When the winter is coming, the wind is coming from the northern of Thailand. Probably start from China, maybe start from Tibet to China, Myanmar, and to Thailand. Thailand is almost the end to the sea. The cold weathers are almost in the end of the colds already. But even in Bangkok, near to the Gulf of Thailand, it's still very cold. Then I wondered that how in MCU that is called the gate of the winter, the gate of the wind of the winter from the northern of Thailand. And about anyone live in Chiang Mai or a border of near to Chiang Mai in Myanmar for today, how the weather is over there? Anyone live in Chiang Rai, Chiang Mai, or the border nearby Chiang Rai, Chiang Mai, Lamphun, Lampang, Tak over there? How the weather is over there today? Because I have seen for a few days the storm hit in USA also, and the storm hit in Japan, and probably in other parts of the world. I think for this year, the whole part of the world, the weather is a bit more cold than any years. But what I have heard from some of the news say that more than 40 years, the winters are never much cold like this year. Know anyone live near to Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, or in the northern part of Thailand and in the borders of Myanmar? Okay, no one live over there, right? And Achin Sundara, where do you live now in the state of Myanmar? In Arakan.
Yes, Ajahn, in Arakan.
Arakan is in the northern of Myanmar or in the the western of Myanmar?
What, Ajahn?
The Arakan state in the middle of the Myanmar or in the western of Myanmar or in the north or in the east of Myanmar? In the middle of the Myanmar?
No,
Near
no,
to
no, no,
the-
Ajahn. I think it is
in the south,
no sound. Sorry,
west,
Ajahn. I think
in the west, in the north, in the east, in the south,
I think in the west, Ajahn.
in the west. Oh, in the west mean near to
Yes, Ajahn. And I
near to
think
Mandalay,
the west of the state of in the west.
near to Mandalay, near to Yakai, near to
Near to Bangladesh and in India.
near to Bangladesh. Okay, near to Bangladesh.
Yes.
I see. That means that area is not still not too cold yet, right?
Yes.
Mm. And the most northern of Myanmar is the Chan state or other state.
The Shan state is near I think Mandalay.
Mandalay, China, and
The
borders. Any province that nearby to
yes, this
borders of India.
many near the Mandalay and the Shan state, but the Rakhine state is very far. The Shan state.
Mm, I see.
The Rakhine state is near in Bangladesh and India.
In near Bangladesh and near to India also.
Yes.
I see. Which part of India? That Assam, right?
Yes, Ajahn.
Assam. I never been to Assam because during I was a student in India, most of the Thai student or the foreigner not allowed to go to the area of the Assam state. I don't know, maybe about the political unrest or some of the uh, thing that like a prohibit for the student from other country, especially for Thailand, because I have heard that at some people speak very much like a normal modern Thai. I want to
Yes.
visit, but due to we are students of Thai from Thailand, then they're not allowing for us about 30, 35 years ago. But I'm not quite sure of that. About a few years ago, I have heard that some of the Thai tourists also been to Assam. Okay, now we have some more students to join. We have together about 10. And today we will go on with our subject. Uh, our subject is about Mangala Sutta. According to the Pali Prosody, according to the Pali Prosody, we are studying about the Mangala Sutta. And now, anyone remember about the techniques of writing? For last time, I have given 5 techniques. Do anyone remember? Do anyone remember the technique? How to describe the thing? How to explain the thing? How to develop and compose the article about your assignment? What is the number 1? Anyone remember? Do anyone remember? What is the number 1 of the technique for developing the topic, developing the composition, writing, so paragraph writing, or describing or descriptive writings, or narrative writings? Do anyone remember? Okay, I will ask one by one. Chananda, are you online? Venerable Chananda, Are you online? Venerable Sumana, are you online? Venerable Achin Sundara, do you still remember for the 5 techniques? No one online? No one connecting?
What Ajahn?
Last time I have given 5 techniques how to develop your writing with the 5 techniques. Do you have learned about that? Do you remember about that for last class?
Sorry, Ajahn.
Last class you missed, right?
No, Miss Ajahn.
But you don't remember.
I did attend the last class.
Or you did you attend?
Yes, Ajahn.
But you cannot remember, right?
Yeah, sorry, Ajahn.
Okay. That means I asked the question because I want to repeat a little bit about someone may not remember. Why do I stress about this? Why do I remind about this? Because very, very significant. Uh, I could say that if I got this technique when I was a student in India, I think I could do my graduation in the first master degree in English. Mean during the first 3 years, I have submit to the subject on the master degree in English literatures. You know, I didn't know much about how to develop my writing. I learned only about like a paragraph writing or essay writing, a composition writing, so paragraph writing, about the introduction, about the uh, coherence, or we call the bodies of the introduction or the bodies of the topics and the conclusion. But I don't know how to develop according to the 5 technique. The first technique we call, we have to know the significance of the topic. The second, we have to know the historical backgrounds of the topic. The third, we have to know the artist style. We are going to talk about the artist or the topic. The fourth one, we have to know the meaning of the topic. The fifth one, we have to know what is the purpose of topic we are going to write. Those days, if I have these kinds of technique, I could develop my English, especially for the English literatures. I could do better than today, but due to the lack of the knowledge, and I know only one thing, that when I've been from Thailand, when I left Thailand, I could speak not so fluently in English, but I could communicate a little bit, but not fluently in English. When I been there, I couldn't understand the lectures in the classroom for 6 months. Within 6 months, I could not understand the lecture of the professor in the classroom because the Indian pronunciations in English is very tough. It's very, very difficult to identify what they are talking, what they are describing, what they are lecturing in the class. And by the way, too, I also very poor in English. But due to the subject is a direct from Bangkok or from Thailand, my direct subject is in Faculties of Humanities. But when I have applied for the master degree in India, then they could allow only one subject in English literatures or otherwise in linguistic. You know, due to the very poor in English too, my skill is not so much too. Then I have passed for the master degree, but within very poor mark. Mean I have passed only third class. I have passed only third class in the faculties of uh, departments of English literature. That is my poor in English in those days. I thought that if I got this technique, how to develop the topic, I could do better English during I was in India. Because when I was a student in India, we have a lot of opportunity to, we have a lot of time, we have a lot of opportunity, we have a lot of chance to talk and to write, even to study. That's why when I was finished in the master degrees in English literatures, then I could get an opportunity to apply for another master's in Indian philosophies and religion. When I have joined in the second master degrees in Indian philosophies and religion, my English a little bit more developing. And because of that, I got the first class in masters in Indian philosophies and religion. That's why I thought that I better do my PhD in Indian philosophies and religion. That my opportunity. But very lucky that I have opportunity to join about the Indian philosophies and religion. Then my topic is about the philosophies on Buddhism. When I got the PhDs in Indian philosophies and religion, I thought that is my luck, the most lucky at my chance that I got PhDs in the Indian philosophies and religion, and my English is a little bit more developing. Then I could concentrate more in English. I have bought for the Tipitaka in versions in English from the Pali Text Society to offer to the student in BSU in India. Then we have opportunity to study about the Tipitaka. Maybe my powers of the merit to offer the Tipitaka. The money is not by myself, but I collect the money from the radio, from the television. Then the people share for the offering the book of Tipitaka in English by the Pali Text Society to offer to the students in BSU. You know that is the historical backgrounds about what and why I am concerning with the Tipitaka. Because of my determination. Because of my determination is about the Tipitaka. Then I have opportunity to collect the money and buy the Tipitaka in English version to offer to the students in Banaras Hindu University in India. It seemed to be like very, very powerful of the merit. And wherever I've been, wherever I go, whatever my life is going to live, all my arts of way of life is always concerned to the Tipitaka. For example, I was start lecturing in MCU from the very simple subject. For example, like listening, speaking, readings, and writing. After some years, I got another appointment to give another lecture For example, like readings and writing with the Tipitaka, like this. And after that, I got again promotion to start about like linguistics in Pali Tipitaka, like this. And sometimes I got meditation according to the Pali Tipitaka, like this. And sometimes I got like literatures in Pali Tipitaka. It's very much like the powers of I have about my own historical background to offer the Tipitaka to the Buddhist monk in India. Probably, I think only a few set in English that in the group of the Thai student, probably they could borrow. Then we get opportunity to distribute to other parts of the group of the students all over India by doing copying. By doing copying. That's why I got one set of the copying from this one. But why do we need the copying? Because when we do copying and only a few thousand rupees a set, mean a group, 45 volume. But we bought from Thailand more than 100,000 baht. You know how much 100,000 baht? You could calculate. I mean, those days is about 25 baht per US dollar. 25 baht per US dollar. But today, about 30 to 31 baht per US dollar. You know, because of that, the copy of the, I say this, sorry for the original copy from the Pali Text Society, because they make so expensive. And because of that, we only one chance to do that, we do copying. When we do copying, then we can make it cheaper. But if the Pali Text Society make it cheaper, I think the people around the world, doesn't matter from which nation, the people could afford to buy the book in Tipitaka in English, in versions in English, cheaper, and more than 7 billion around the world. If the Pali Text Society make it cheaper, I think the Pali Text Society could do very good selling about the book of the Pali Text Society, about the Tipitaka. But due to the copies, the original copies is very expensive. When the original copies is very expensive, no one could afford to buy for the original copy. Then only one thing they can do mean to do copying, because the copying is more cheaper. But it is very lucky in Thailand, and but due to we call the illegal, we cannot copies and distribute the copies to anyone except keep for oneself. But it's still expensive to do copy, and it's not easy to get the original copy to do another copies again. But if this news is going through the people who belong to the Pali Text Society, if you can do a very cheaper or very cheap original copy to distribute for the people around the world, then they can afford to buy, or they can afford to keep in the local library. Then the people can study more, and the Pali Text Societies also can be sold in more number of the Pali text societies book about the textbooks of the Pali Tipitaka in versions in English. That is, I'm sorry for talking about this, because due to the Pali text in the Pali Tipitaka, the people around the world get opportunity to study and get to know about Buddhism. But the people are interested about Buddhism, but what do they know? Very hard for them to find out how to read and how to make more research about the Pali Tipitaka in versions in English, because it's very expensive. And the people around the world or different nations who could not follow the Thai language or the Pali Thai, no one could afford to study in Thai, because in Thai now, for the governments, or especially for the MCU and for the MBU, for the Mahidhan University, have transferred from Thai language in the book into the digital. When they have transferred it to the first start from the CD, when they start copying into the CD, and then the people get opportunity to buy a few hundred baht in CD instead of buying the original copy printings in book, 45 volumes of MCU or 91 volumes of the MBU, that more than 10,000, more than 15,000 baht. That seemed to be a lot of money. And the Thai people, don't talk about the Thai people, just the monk. Even the monks get the original text in Thai or in Pali, but mostly kept very well in the ordination hall or in the library. Very difficult for the Buddhist monk to borrow for the Pali Tipitaka to study. For I myself, when I was a monk, I borrowed from the Venerable Abbot of my temple to read, because during I was the student in BA, one subject about the Tipitaka, I have to borrow Tipitaka from the Venerable Abbot and studying about the Tipitaka. And it's very, very difficult, because the Venerable Abbot said that, oh, sorry, I don't know where I left the key. I could not find out the key of the wardrobe or the cupboard or the shelf of the book. That means even though the Tipitaka in Thai versions is available in the temple, but very hard and very difficult to get. Even the Venerable Abbot forget the key. They don't know where he left the key. Then so many months, if I didn't make my effort to follow again and again, sir, did you find out the key? Could I borrow the Tipitaka and read? I think he may forget. He may forget about the borrowing the Tipitaka and read. This is a difficult. But for after that, the Tipitaka was transferred to CD, or we call digital. Then it was installed into the internet or the Google or the website. Nowadays in Thai, Tipitaka is very, very easy for anyone who needed to study about the Tipitaka. That's very lucky for the Thai people. But I'm not quite sure for in Myanmar. Do anyone know in Myanmar? Do you have the Pali text in Myanmar language in the social media or in the Google? Anyone could give the answer about this? Chao Nanda, Chao Golinda, Achinsun Dara, Win Studio, Uyana. How about, do you have any idea? Could you get on the social media about the Tipitaka in your language? No one can give.
No, teacher.
No available.
No.
Oh, very sorry for that. I think it's most lucky for the Thai people. But even though it's more easier to gain, it's more easier to get, but the people are still, we can say that, not much pay attention. Only a few people, only scholars in Buddhism could afford to study again and again. And most of the Thai people have some idea that, oh, very difficult to read in Tipitaka because the language is very difficult. One thing why the Pali Tipitaka is difficult for the Thai people. Could anyone guess about that? Could anyone guess about that? Why Tipitaka written in Thai but still difficult for the Thai people? What do you think? Anyone have any idea? How Venerable Kun Kuang, are you online? Venerable Kun Kuang, are you online?
Yeah, Ajahn, I'm online, Ajahn.
And you are always scholars and associate to numbers of people. Do you think why do the Thai people, even Tipitaka written in Thai, but still less number scholars in Buddhism pay much and understand well about Tipitaka in Thai? Do you have any idea? Would you like to guess?
This question is very serious, Ajahn. Like, why do people interested in Pitaka very less, right, Ajahn?
Mean they have excuse that I'm sorry, it's too difficult to study. I'm sorry, I could not understand. Most they have exclusion about because of that, because of this, because of those. Then they don't read. They don't pay much attention to the Tipitaka, even translate into Thai already. Why do it feel difficult for the Thai people? Could you imagine about that?
Oh, okay.
Sorry, it's very hard topic.
Yeah, hot topic. Okay, I think Ajahn, because of
The topic is very difficult to again for me.
because of right now, Ajahn, science and technology development day by day, so they don't have enough time to pay attention to study Pitaka. After that, they just follow the running business and earn money. They just pay attention to their social activity and political activity. Most of the young generation right now, they just interested in political issue. They never interested in the Buddhist section and religious section. So most of people are less in to study Buddhist structure. I think, Ajahn. This is my
Yeah,
opinion.
thank you. Very good idea. I mean, when you are from Myanmar, but due to you understand quite well about the situations of the Thai people, what you have said is correct, because most of the people in Thailand, they are, it seems to be like good in economic. Then most of the Thai people are uh, concerning, pay attention to more for the economic life more than knowledge. It seems to be like maybe because of that, most of the our neighbor from Myanmar migrate to work in Thailand as a factories or companies like that. Then because salary in Thailand it seems to be more higher than other neighbors surrounding Thailand. But most of the Thai people, they usually they earn easier money, and they usually concern to the luxury life because of the flood of the in what you call technologies, because of the flood of the knowledge or information, because then they thought that they could get any knowledge from anywhere, from any part of the social media or digital. Then they may with the thought that okay, if I need any day, then I will find out. But they always concerned with the way of living, I mean the way of life. But the way of life inspiring and motivating and cultivating through the economics, because even they need more economic supporting for their life, the more new material from surrounding around the world still keep coming and coming, and what is it, tempting the Thai people to pay more interesting to the material attractive from around the world. I mean, then because of the new technologies, it's more interesting and more attractive than the knowledge. But usually the knowledge is valued by itself, but due to they thought that the knowledge of earning the money, the knowledge of earning the supporting for their living life is more interesting. Then they never thought about if their life suffering, then they have no vaccine of teachings of Lord Buddha, then they will gain the easily pain, they will gain easily suffering through the material thing coming through their eye, their ear, their nose, their mouth, their tongue, their physical bodies, and their mental, mean their heart. That's why the Thai people are mostly trying to follow the Western society, because Thai people, most of the Thai people, not every Thai people, but some Thai people, especially for the one who's been abroad, study abroad, studying in a Western society, studying in the most developing country, then they thought that they want the Thai society to be developing as much as the Westerns and the developing country. But they never look at the backgrounds of their own. What is the historical backgrounds of their own is they are firmly with the sufficiency economy. But due to the sufficiency economy, is to have the moral in there, mean the sufficiency, the moral firm, or the root of the cultures that is grown up from Buddhism. we can say that from Buddhism, because some of the Hinduism, but very, very little. From the other religion, for example, like Muslims or Christian, very little. But more than 95% was Buddhist. But now only about 80% is Buddhist. But due to the more and more gap between the Thai people have less connected to the moral of the Buddhism, then the part of the culture, the parts of the firms of the sufficiency economy even have been supporting by the King Rama IX, that the great King Rama IX have promoting about the sufficiency economy to remind the Thai people that Thai people don't forget our historical background, that our historical background is confirmed and firm with the sufficiency economy. That means moral concern to the life concern to the material, and all these things are much connecting. But due to the tempted of the materialism are coming to the Thai society, and they block the wisdom, block the right wisdom. Mean they have a lot of information, but the information is information. But if they don't learn very well, then they don't know how to make the information to the knowledge, and they don't know how to make the knowledge into the right wisdom to develop their way of life according to the Mangala Sutta. For example, we have been already with Asivana Japalanang. Most of the Thai people, I don't want to mention that which age. Mostly we associate to the violence. What is the violence? From the Hollywood cultures, from the Bollywood culture, but Bollywood culture is still concerned to the moral. You know what is the Bollywood culture, right? And now Thailand, except from the Korean cultures and China cultures or Chinese cultures, you know, Thailand have lost their own form. We can say that in Thailand, some of the Chinese people from China, during the change of the cultures in China, mean during the revolutions of the old cultures into the communist cultures, and most of the many people from China are escaping to Thailand, and they come like, okay, I'm searching for the utopia or for the new life in other land. But when they found the lands of Thailand, and they set the family in Thailand, married to the local peoples, and then with the thought that in Thailand is very, very fertilized country. They will not going to die because everywhere vegetables are every ground, fruit are every forest or jungle, and animals are available everywhere. Even they have no food, they can hunt the jungle, the animal from the jungle to be their food. Mean they say, okay, they never die if they live in Thailand. But due to the Thai people, especially for the revolutions of the Thai society during the colonial, you know, the colonial period, the colonial invasion. For example, like French to this region, England, British came to this region, and then British also wanted to take over that and those countries, and French also wanted to take over those countries. And when the Thai people got opportunity to learn about this part of the culture, Thai people never aware about the good and bad, because the Thai people never get opportunity to be a slave of those colonial. The Thai people always think that doesn't matter. British also good, French also good, and other country from other world, anywhere of the world, doesn't matter, from India, from Middle East, or from anywhere. All the Thai people think that those people are good as they are. They never think that those people are searching for the material life that is already fertilized in Thailand. But the Thai people, when the Thai people seen those people from the Western, from the other parts of the world come to Thailand, and then they live luxury, they are rich. Because the Thai people, they are live with a way of life we call art, or the living style. The living style of the Thailand or the Thai people, sabai sabai. You know sabai sabai? Sabai sabai means everything is going easily. They never care much.
Last one is easy.
Easy, yeah, that's easy. That means then they thought that they want to be as the student who've been studying abroad, been the millionaire, the rich people, they've been abroad, study abroad, and when they come back, then they got appointed in the very high ranks of the Thai society or the government's office. And some of them are graduate from the other school, not like a temple school as the leader of Thai people a few decades before. A few decades before, most of the minister, most of the prime minister, most of the minister, most of the high officers in the government are from the temple school or from the monastery school, in the Buddhist monastery school. Then those officers, those high ranks of the people, they always think about the moral. But afterward, more people get rich, and when they see the other high ranks of the people, especially in the noble family, studying abroad, and when they come back and be appointed to be the prime minister, to be appointed to be the minister, to be appointed to be the high officers in the government, then the poor people also want to be in that position, because they are studying abroad, they got a very good position, they got a very good rank, they got a good lifestyle. The poor people want to be in that. You know, one of the words saying in the local people, for especially for the farmer's son, for the farmer generations, they have lectures, they have said by the parent that don't be a farmer. A farmer's life so suffering. That's why in the Thai society, most of the children, but I never know about this word, because I was in very most remote country, in very barbarian area. But when I ordained to become a novice, I got opportunity to be able to read and to be able to write, and then I got opportunity to study about the Dhamma, and I got opportunity to study about adult school, like the people who have no from primary school, then they join with the adult school and start from like a primary again, and secondary school and the high school, and then join the university. When I got this to study, then afterward I came to know, my goodness, that is tempted. That means challenge the poor people from countryside, because the luxury, usually the people who have been abroad and study abroad, and they just learn every way how to make money, but careless about the moral. This is the part of studying of lackings of the moral in Thai society. For example, for the patient, for the effort, for the right effort. Now, the countryside, especially the children, are spoiled. Children are spoiled because of the digital world. They learn the luxury thing and they learn all the material thing from the social media. It starts from the Hollywood culture and start from the Bollywood culture and the later like China cultures or Chinese cultures, or for the we call it Kung Fu cultures, or for the Korean culture, and they forget all about Thai cultures. What are the Thai cultures? The Thai cultures are concerned to be called Bawon. Anyone have ever heard about the Bawon? Anyone have ever heard about the Bawon?
Never heard of them.
In Sri Lanka, they say that Ayu Bawon. Ayu Bawon. Do you know what's meaning? Ayu Bawon mean long life.
Oh, long night. Okay.
Yeah, long life. Bawon. Ba mean in Thai we call Ban. Ban mean the people. Ban mean people, like a home. A home mean the people, the normal people, from the poor people up to the rich people, or from to the up to the royal member. We call Ban. And Wa mean we call what. What mean the temple. The temple mean a part of the moral. Ban mean like a life. Won mean what? Mean the temple. Then the last one, Ro Rua. Ro Rua. Wara. Bawon. It's not Bawon like BOVON, not like that. It was like VA, sorry, BAVARA, Wara, Bawara. But if we talk in Thai, we call Bawon. The same to the Ayu Bawon in Sri Lanka, mean long life. Long life means sustainable. You know the sustainable? Anyone understand the sustainable? Sustainable
Don't understand.
mean sustainable mean is more firm, is more strong, is more long. For example, like sustainable society mean the society is firm with the historical, or for the first significance of the society is the moral, about the historical background, about the way of life, about the meanings of life, about the purpose of life. This we call firm with Bawon. But due to the Thai people are lost their own firm background, and with the thought that Western people and other country, developing country, are more sustainable, are more luxury, are more tempted for them to live the life as those people instead of their own cultures before. Because the Thai people, the name of the Thai people are from freedom. Freedom means the 100th freedom is the peacefulness. Peacefulness means nibbana. That means I don't know how could probably the Thai who call themselves Thai, because probably name is derived from the Pali, because the Pali talk about the slave. When the slave been free from the slave, we call Thai. Mean the one who is out of the slave. For example, Buddhism. What is the teachings of Buddhism? Teachings of Buddhism mean to make the being, all being doesn't matter, human being, dog, animal, God and goddess, to be free from the slave. Slave of what? Slave of the rakaki, mean tanha, rakaki, dosaki, mohaki, chati, chara, marana, soka, parideva, dukkha, domanasa, upayasa. This we call the 11th fire. The 11th fire mean free from the burning of the fire. The fire burning we call rakaki because of the rakaki. Anyone understand rakaki? Do anyone understand what is rakaki?
No, sir. No, understand. No.
Oh, sorry. Rakaki means the sensual pleasure. The sensual pleasure. What are the sensual? Do anyone remember? What are the sensual pleasures? Sensual pleasures. Sensual means the sense organ. You know the sense organ? Chakku vinyana. Chakku means the eye. Then touching to the object. Touching to the object. For example, like my eye touching to the monitor. Then there are chakku vinyana over there. Chakku vinyana. If I only enjoy, oh, Dr. San is sitting in front of the monitor, look very much like a bear. Because of the cold, he dressed like a mummy. Like a mummy, you know the mummy, the dead bodies in the coffin in Middle East. If I'm enjoying only, wow, look good, then that means I'm enjoying to the sensual pleasures. But if I'm dressing like this, with the thought, with the, we call the samma sankappa, with the thought that, with the samma titti, with the right view that, okay, because of the cold, if I don't dress like this, I will get sick, because my body have not much immune system to create my body be warm enough to protect myself. That's why I need cloth, I need hat or the cover my head. I need a card to look at the monitor, then I see properly. Mean I look at the true thing we call vipassana or insight meditation. During I'm talking, during I'm saying, during I'm lecturing like this, my insight meditations are going on with the right view, with the right thought, with the right speech, with the right action, with the right livelihood, with the right effort, with the right mindfulness, with the right concentration. If my mind is going like this, with we call Eight Vulnerable Parts, keep moving, or we have learned about Ekayano, Ayang Bhikkhave, or I have usually said about Atapi, Sampachano, Satima, like this. What is atapi? Mean effort, the right effort. Sampachano mean the right view, the right sankappa, or the right effort, or the right concentration. All makka, all noble paths are going on like this. If I didn't stop, if I didn't stop, if I didn't attractive to the luxuries or the sensual pleasures, mean my Eightfold Noble Path keep going to understand. Because of my eye, the objects of the monitor and Chakku Vinyana is taking place, then I'm not belong to the sensual pleasures, but with the right understanding, with the right thought, with the right speech, with the right action, with the right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration, are going on like this. That is say, is not be attachment by the sensual pleasure. Then Rakaki is not take over me, but with the Ekayano, Ayam Bhikkhave. Because the Bhikkhave here not mean to the bhiksu or the monks only. The Bhikkhave mean the one who understand about the dangers of the life. What is the dangers of the life? Lives are always dangerous. If too cold, one may die. If too hot, one may die. If too much flood with the water, could not breathe, you will die. Any minute, life could be dead for a single minute. That's why the life is so risky, means so easy to be dead, not easy to be lived. The life, luxuries or unluxury. That's why in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta have tempted and have challenged, have inspiring by the Lord Buddha in the deathbed that Handadani Bhikkhave up to Ayam Kayavaya Dhamma Sankhara Pamadena Sampadeta. Mean hurry up, hurry up. Life is so short. You can be dead in a minute. If you dead, if you die, then nothing can guarantee that this life, this day, you made to the teachings of Lord Buddha, but the next life, nothing can be guaranteed that you will be again in the currents of the teachings of Lord Buddha again. Then you will be maybe be born as any part of the being. That means you're going to miss the teachings of Lord Buddha. That's reminding us every minute like this. That's why I say, if I know about these 5 techniques, how to developing the thing, through one significant, the second historical background, the third, the style, the acting style or artistic style, or the style of life. The fourth is the meaning. What is the meanings of the topic? And the fifth is the purpose of topic or the purpose of life. If I know these kinds of technique when I was a monk, during I was a student in India, I hope that I could do more developing myself than this. That's why I would like to challenge and I would like to motivate and cultivate and inspiring all of you to do with your onward from now any subject, any topic, any writing, any developing your composition, paragraph writings or essay writing or assignments or anything, your topics, your article, start from now. Don't forget about these 5 techniques, how to developing. I put on the screen. Did you see that Sevanajapalanam? Don't associate to the bad, fool, stupid one. Topic significant. Did anyone see this? Do anyone see it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
thank
see
you.
the topic then.
Okay, thank you. And I will do I copy on the lines on the face your group facing FB already? I'm not quite sure. If not, then I'll copy again today and put on your line group or your face group, and then you can do to develop your way of writing or your way of developing or your way of life from now, and you will be a great scholars in the future. I didn't blame myself. I didn't blame any other because of my own luck, my own puppe kata punyata, because I didn't have much associate like Asivana. I didn't have another one for Panchitan and Jasivana. But when I got this knowledge to share for the knowledge to everyone, I better give, because more I give, more I gain. The same to you, more you give and you get, more you gain. Because that's a nature, that's the part of the natures of the teachings of Lord Buddha. That's why most of the teachings of Lord Buddha up to now, very few people, very few scholars can be say against to Lord Buddha. Only Palanam, only unwise people, mean unclever people or not intelligent people. If intelligent people or the wise peoples or the good people, if they study very well about the teachings of Lord Buddha, they never have any doubts about the teachings of Lord Buddha. From the day of Lord Buddha gained enlightenment, he have investigated, he have researched more than 45 years for billions of the universe. No anyone teach about what we are learning right now, Tipitaka or Pali Tipitaka. And even now, if you are studying more, if anyone could say that the way of Eightfold Noble Path exactly the same to the Lord Buddha have promoting, and then if they claim that this belongs to their enlightenment, that's not possible. That means if they say that they are big thief, mean the one who is a very big Joro, we call Mahajoro. Because of the enlightenment of Lord Buddha, this wisdom still exists. But due to this enlightenment of Lord Buddha carry on by the Noble Sangha. Noble Sangha can mean up to the Mahakaspa, Sariputta, Mokkallana, Ananda, Upali, all those monks up to the modern day, including we call Sutta Buddha. Because of we are the Sutta Buddha, we are learning, we are studying from Buddha. Then we keep go on with the saying of Lord Buddha. Then we are called Sutta Buddha. If we still claim that these are the teachings of Lord Buddha, that means we are not Mahajoro. Mean we are not Mahajon. Mean we are not the big thief. Why do they call the big thief? The big thief means they steal from the human being up to the God realms of being. But due to we are not stealing, but we are still claiming this is the teachings of Lord Buddha, carry on by Noble Sangha. Up to today, we are the Sutta Buddha. Even we are not noble yet, but we are on the trend, we are on the stream of carry on. That's why Asevana Japalanam Panditanam Jasevana Pucha Chapuchaniyanam Etam Kalamutamam Patirupa Desavaso Chapupe Chakatapunyata Samma Paniticha Etam Kalamutaman. Up to Buddha Salokatam Behitang Yasanakam Padiasokang Virijang Kemang Etam Kalamutaman. Eta disani katawana sapat maparachita sapat so tingkat jantitante sang mangkalamuttamanti. All this still exists. Anyone remember that these Mangala Sutta are coming from what sutta in Suttanta? Thi ma sang ang ko. What's meaning thi? Thi ma sang ang ko. Thi mean thi kanikaya. Ma mean Majjhimanikaya. Thi ma sang mean Sangyuttika Nikaya. Ang mean Anguttara Nikaya. Ko mean Kuttaka Nikaya. Anyone remember that Mangala Sutta coming in which sutta? Venerable Jao Golinda. Venerable, who is the English one? Johnny, right?
Yeah, teacher.
It's me.
John.
It's me, Korita-san, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember from which part of the Thima Sang Angko, Mangala Sutta?
Not exactly, teacher.
That means you didn't read in your textbook yet, right? If you find out from which sutta, Thima Sang Angko, then I will try to give all of you to explain properly one by one, but I seem to be like you have very limited time. I could trust Venerable Kun Kuang, maybe he have. Venerable Kun Kuang, what do you think? Mangala Sutta or from which part of Thima Sang Angko?
Mangala Sutta is
Yeah. Not sure.
not sure, but I know the history of Mangala Sutta. I came from I didn't remember Ajahn. When I was child, I heard from
but
one
you
of
have
the
seen
venerable.
someday, right? But due to the memory.
Yes.
Okay, then I could remind everyone again, look at the Kuttaka Nikaya. Look at the Kuttaka Nikaya, then you see Mangala Sutta in Kuttaka Nikaya, the last one. Thi means Tika Nikaya. Ma means Majjhima Nikaya. Sang means Sangyuttika Nikaya. Ang means Anguttara Nikaya. Ku means Kuttaka Nikaya. Kuttaka Nikaya, there are 15 copies. Mean 15 copies. But which one? Try to find out. Then
Ajahn,
yes,
please show me the screen.
The screen.
Yeah, please show me. Seeing all students.
the screen of the studio. Oh, sorry. Go back to the. Okay. Now come back. Did you see again?
Please tell me again the name list. Khodaka Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya.
Yeah. T mean T ma sang angku. There are 5, right? T ma sang angku. There are 5. There are 5. And Mangala Sutta are in the last one. T mean T Kanikaya. The second ma mean Majjhima Nikaya. Third Thima sang mean Sangyutta Nikaya. Ang mean Anguttara Nikaya. Ku mean Khuddaka Nikaya. Okay, I will type along with the 5 significant technique, and I will copy on the line of the face, the group face again. Then you could find out from the Tipitaka and read your own language first. When you understand your own language in Mangala Sutta, then we could share and exchange for the another forward. Now we have gone about Asevana Palanams already, Panchitanans already, Puja Puchaniyanam, Etam Mangalamutamam, we already. The next, we may go to Patirupate Sawasocha, Puppe Kata Punyata, Attasamma Panichicha, about 3 of these. And if anyone forward looking for another, for example, like Pam Satjancha, Sipancha, Vinayo Supsekito, Supasita, Jayawaja, Etamangkalamutamang, and forward, or can see forward to Mata Pita Upathanang Puttathara Jasangaho Anakula Chakamanta Etamangkalamutamang, or Thanan Jatamachariya Jayatakanan Jasangaho Anawachani Kamani Etamangkalamutamang, like this. If anyone can see forward, see each topic to make right understanding, to make clear according to the 5 techniques, then you could explain in the class one by one. We start from anyone who admit into the line and showing the first name, then I call from the first name up to the last name, like this. Then
the class is finished just now.
About 10 minutes more. Do you have anything to say?
Yes, Ajahn. Because my phone is not good for battery, and the bill is more much spent, Ajahn.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining. You can quit and you can prepare yourself for the next class. Thank you for joining for today.
Yes, because the bill is spent many
for sharing, for sharing.
Thank you. Okay.
And in Myanmar, and in Myanmar, the time is near to eat again.
Okay. Take care. Then thank you very much for joining today, Venerable Achin Sundaram, right?
Yes, Ajahn, thank you. You also take care of your health, Ajahn.
Thank you. Thank you. Next one, Uriji. Next one, and Nalin Dasai. Are you ready? Nalin Dasai.
Ajahn, if so, may I leave from this group?
Last.
Okay. Nalin Dasai, do you have anything to say before you leave the class?
Yeah, Ajahn, I need to go for some another.
Okay. You can leave. Thank
Yes,
you very
Ajahn.
much for joining today.
Yeah, yes, Ajahn. Thank you.
See you again next class. Thank you.
Yeah, yes.
See you, Ajahn.
Okay. Next, Venerable Win Studio. Who is Win Studio?
Yes, Ajahn, yes.
Do you have anything to say before leaving the class?
I want to say thank you, teacher, and take care yourself, teacher.
Yes, you too. Are you in a campus or you are still in Myanmar?
Yes, MCU campus.
Okay, take care. Enjoy the lunch. Happy lunch.
Okay.
Thank you.
Happy New Year, teacher.
Okay, like one, right?
Yes, like go.
Okay. Do you have anything to say before joining the lunch?
Yes, thank you everything, and thank you for have class in the morning. Thank you.
Thank you to you too for joining. I hope that
Yes.
the
Okay.
COVID-19 never stopped us from the learning. Thank you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Next, Venerable Welcome. Are you ready? Or Uyana? Uyana, are you ready?
Yes, finish Ajahn. I submit my assignment. Finish.
On the Hotmail, okay? Chadaram Hotmail.
In your email.
Yeah, email chadaram@hotmail.com, okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much for joining for today. See you next class.
See you, Ajahn. Ajahn, have a nice day. For you.
Are you in campus or in Myanmar?
Temple. In MCU.
Oh,
Dormitory.
okay. Take care. Take care. Goodbye.
Yes, sir.
Take
Yeah.
care.
Bye.
Next, who is
Have a nice day
reading?
for you.
Ne Sai Sai. Venerable Ne Sai Sai, are you ready?
Yes. Yes, Ajahn. Yes, I am here.
Do you have anything to say before our class is over?
Today is cool.
Today is cool.
Take a yes, sir. Yes, sir. Today for
Me too.
I just
I
want
was
to
there. I
take
wear
your
two jackets, you know. Take care of yourself. Trying to make
thank you.
yourself warm.
Okay. See you next time, Ajahn. I hope
See
to
you
learn
next
something.
time. Thank you. Next, Venerable Kun Kuang, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
Venerable Kun Kuang.
Okay, thank you very much, Ajahn.
Do you have anything to say before class over?
No have Ajahn. Like, thank you all of students and teacher being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I would like to say thanks for you too to join the class. Thank you very much. See you next class. Eh? Next, who is the next one? Who is the next one? Chanda, are you ready? Or Vara?
Yeah, Ajahn.
Venerable Vara, are you ready?
Yes, Ajahn. Ajahn,
Do
how
you
are
have
you?
anything to say?
Today is very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Take care.
Take carefully, Ajahn.
And make yourself warm. And
I want to say take carefully, my friends. And Ajahn.
thank you. Thank you. See you next
Yes, thank
class.
you. See you next week, Ajahn.
Thank you. Bye. Next English one, John Lack. Johnny,
Yeah, sure.
do you have anything to say? Johnny, are you
Yeah.
in the campus or in Myanmar?
No, in the campus
In the
at
campus.
MCU. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything to say?
Thank God. Yeah. Thank you for coming and teaching us, for sharing your idea, and
Yes.
you let us know more and more about the Mangala Sutta.
I hope that
Thank
I
you very
could
much,
listen
Jan.
from you someday. Maybe I could listen
But
once.
if you
If you prepare well
if you
next
speak
class, please
Pali
say,
to me, I don't
Ajahn, today
understand.
I
I
already
never.
preparing.
Yeah.
Okay. If next class anyone have already
Okay.
preparing,
If English,
please
I
show
understand.
the hand. Ajahn, today I already for the Mangala Sutta or the Mingalaba. Okay.
Samarikra.
Okay. Goodbye.
Okay. Thank you, Ajahn.
Take care.
Take care,
Ajahn.
Ajahn.
Next,
Okay,
Chanda,
next.
are you ready? Who is ready? Chanda or Uyana? Or
Ajahn.
Uyana? Do you have anything to say before class over?
I'm see you, Ajahn.
You
I'm
will
see
see
you.
you.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything to say before class over?
Yes, Ajahn.
No?
Ajahn,
Okay.
I spend my exam finished.
Okay. Send through the Chadaram app.
Assignment, Ajahn, assignment finished in your email.
Sending through the assignment, sending through the Chadaram at hotmail.com. Okay.
Yes, Ajahn.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you
Okay. Next,
next.
who ready? Venerable Vinaya.
Nothing, Ajahn. Thank you, Ajahn.
Nothing more. Thank you for joining. See you next class.
Okay, thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. Next, who's ready? Chua Tai Si. Sur Tai Si. Are you ready? Or Kuleng? Or Sandra?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, teacher.
Do you have anything to say before class over?
Yes. Happy New Year's and take care yourself, teacher.
You too. You too. Thank you.
Because today is so cold.
Yeah, I wear 3 jackets or 2 jackets today.
Yes.
Okay. Take care. Goodbye.
Okay.
See you next class.
See you.
Next, Venerable Uyana. Are you ready?
Yes, Ajahn. Finished.
Oh, you have finished, right? Next, Light One, South Town, Akasena, Chandakkhana.
Yes, sir. Teacher.
Okay. Goodbye to everyone.
Yes.
See
Yes,
you
goodbye,
next
Ajahn.
class.
Goodbye, Ajahn. Goodbye, Ajahn.
Bye. Okay.
Bye,
Have a nice day
Ajahn.
for you, Ajahn.
Enjoy the lunch. Thank you.
Take care of yourself, Ajahn.
Bye bye.
That is very cool, Ajahn.
Okay. Take care. Very cool. Take care.
Today you teach
Yeah.
we very well, Ajahn.
Very good. And don't forget to send through chadaram@hotmail.com for the assignment. Okay.
Yes,
See
Ajahn.
you next class. Thank
Yes,
you
see you,
for
Ajahn.
joining today.
Yes, Ajahn.
Thank you.
Hello, Ajahn. I have a little bit question to.
Oh, Collins, do you have anything to say before leaving?
Yeah. I have a question to
Yes.
for the subject that the teacher teach. We do not have a book to find some information that the teacher to maybe like Mingla Sutta. We know in Pali but we cannot how to say, we do not have a book to
Maybe
study
you try. Maybe I'll try. If I can find out, I will put on your Facebook. Okay.
yes.
I'll try.
Do you have any, how to say, to show the way to find the book, maybe, because we are not in MCU. We just live in a timber, so we cannot go to find a book in a library. So it's a little bit difficult to find the information about Mangala Sutta.
Okay, and if you remember in Pali, for example, like Asevana Japalanam Pantitan and Jasevana Pucha Puchaniyanam, like this. If you remember only one, then for the Asevana, then you just describe your assignment along with the 5 topic or 5 significant. I have said the first one is significant, the second is a historical, the third is about the artistic style, or the fourth one about the meaning, and the fifth one about the purpose of Mangala Sutta, or about the Asivana. Why the Buddha keep this Asivana Japalanam as the first in Mangala Sutta? You can explain in a modern English by yourself. You don't have to depend on the book, or you can read from your own Vietnamese, if you can find out from the internet, or maybe like this, you can explain in modern English by yourself, right?
But,
or you can quote in Pali. You can quote in Pali. If you cannot make it by one topic, you can write by Pali by yourself, like Asevana Japalanam Panditan Jasevana Pucha Puchaniyanam Etamam Kalamuttam Manti, like this, like a name of the topic. Then you take the 5 techniques to describe what is the introduction about. You say about the significance of the Mangala or Asivana, or the Pantitanam, or the Pucha Puchaniyanam. You describe about these 3. Then make the bodies of the your assignment along with the 5 techniques. For example, like significant historical background, the artist style, the meaning or the purpose, developing. Then make the conclusion like this by the modern English through yourself. And one, I will load the name in Pali and in Roman alphabet and in Thai. Maybe you can guess the idea from the Facebook or from the student group. Okay, I will upload. I already took the picture from the book, and you can copy the name of them. For example, like how to spell Mangala Sutta, how to spell the we call Asivana Japalanam, like this in Pali. Okay. Okay. Thank you for joining today.
Thank you. So I have I'm not clear one thing that the teacher said. We have to submit assignment that concern with the 5 significant that teacher sent to in the group today. So
I will copy and put on the group. You are joining on the group lines also? Group face?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put on that. Okay.
So
put on that.
That assignment, one should be sent to the teacher, that assignment?
Yeah, sending into this through the email, this one. Can you see this? chadaram@hotmail.com?
Yeah, I see it. So next week
any day up to before the exam. But we have 2 assignments. Now, first assignment, maybe in the future, but I didn't keep yet. But if you are ready for the first one, you can prepare yourself for the second one. Okay? Because 20 marks for one assignment and another 20 marks for assignment, 10 marks for the joining the class. That means 50 marks before our exam and 50 marks for the final exam again. Okay?
So for one assignment, we should there are 36 Mangala Sutta, right?
Yeah,
We
Mangala
so we
Sutta,
can
or the second
yeah.
also can be in the Mangala Sutta or any topic if you like. But
Amount
I
of
would like you to go with the Mangala Sutta is better. But you can pick up 2 topics from this, any topics you like.
yeah. So we can choose the topic in amount of the 38 Mangala Sutta, right?
Yeah, you can pick up from this or from other also.
Yeah.
Don't worry. If you
Okay,
find out some topics interesting for you and maybe benefit to all friends, then you can share. Okay.
Okay.
Which
Thank you,
temple
teacher.
do you live now?
I live in the timber, teacher.
In Pathum Thani or in Nonthaburi?
In Bang Yai, Bang Yai.
Bang Yai is Nonthaburi, right?
Bang Yai, Nonthaburi.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
see you, teacher. Thank you.
See
Thank you
you.
so much.
Yes, thank you. Goodbye. Now the class is finished. Last student left the class about 10:49. And today we learn a lot about Mangala Sutta, but repeating about the 5 techniques. The 5 techniques that to cultivate the student how to develop their writing, because the 5 new techniques to describe the thing, I think this is very helpful. I got this from the we call ML, one of the royal family. He was the teacher to the Thai tourist guide, for the Thai tourist guide to lead the tourists into the Grand Palace or the temple or the Bangka-in Palace. He had given this knowledge, and I'm not quite sure he gained this idea from the French, or maybe because he's very good in French language, and he's graduated probably from France. And the new techniques of learning, we could admire him for the Western a lot of things, but not everything. Some part of the Westerns are very good. That means the way, the techniques, and know-how. But one thing we could complain about, like Hollywood or Bollywood or any cultures, is made from one culture, but due to the lack of the knowledge of the people around the world, they could not know themselves that they have no vaccine to protect themselves from the violence or from the immune system through the mental system. Because of that, they might attractive. They might be attractive to one's of the idea or the concept. Then they forget about the part of their own culture, and because of that, they might be like copying or typing or lip sync to the violence or parts of the uh, immoral. That is a part of the significant. The same to right now the world are worrying about the environments of the world. But one thing and very less thing, and the people understand about the social disruption or social disturbing or social uh, what you say dimension, because the social from dimension social disrupting and social collapsing are because of the individual collapsing. The individual immoral then can bring the social be immoral. When the social immoral in right now is become like a world immoral, and we could not blame to whom specifically, like whom have to be responsibility for this, because the world is like a globalization. If one is disrupt, is one is disturbed, is one is ruins, the one is interrupt, and can be damaged, can be infected to other parts of the world also, because it now is the world is the globalization, the digital world. What happens in other parts of the world can be affected to another parts of the world immediately. That's why the part of the moral, it seems to be careless with most of the people right now, and because of that, we don't know how to promote about this. We Risinda, are you coming?
Okay.
The class is over now. Do you have
I live
anything
in
to say?
Myanmar.
Are you in Myanmar?
Yes.
Oh, are you the second year, right?
Yes, second year student. Yes.
And do you have made your assignment?
Yes, I have student.
Or you have sent it, right? Do you have the face group or the line group also?
Yes.
Okay, I will upload again for this broadcasting on the line group, right? And you can see again.
Yes, again, I see.
Okay, now it's time for lunch. Take care. Take good care and take lunch. Okay, goodbye.
Internet problems, my.
Okay, goodbye.
Yes,
You have any question?
Yes, again.
You have any question?
Yes. Yes, I question.
Yeah.
No, any question because my country is internet problem.
Okay.
Sometimes problem. Yes.
Okay. And thank you very much for joining for today.
Yes, again. Thank you. See
Okay,
you
see you next
again.
week. Next Tuesday. Okay.
Yes, next week again.
Thank
Yes,
you.
okay.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Have a nice day again.
Yes, the weather is cold now in Thailand.
Oh, yes, Myanmar's the weather is cold, very cold right now.
Okay. Take care.
Yes.
Take care of your health. Okay.
That's okay. Yes.
Okay. Goodbye.
Again, bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you. The last one. Very lucky that I make a conclusion before the class is over, and the last student joining due to the internet problem around other parts of the neighborhood. And I think it's not so easy, but anyway, better nothing. Even they interrupt by the COVID-19, but the student from other parts of the world also can be joining. That's been very good. And thank you for the instruments of the Google Meet to let us get opportunity to meet to the student. And I hope that the COVID-19 might be over from disturbing to all our global very soon. Thank you. Goodbye.
สุดท้ายความเสื่อมทรามจะมาพรากไปร่วงโรยลงในสายทานยามการเวลาหมุนไปชีวิตต้องแตกสลายไม่มีเที่ยงแท้ผมเส้นงามถึงคราวร่วงไปแขนขาที่เคยว่องไวกลับไร้เรี่ยวแรงโรคภัยเฝ้าคอยคุกคามติดตามไปในทุกแห่งเกิดแก่เจ็บตายสำแดงเป็นธรรมดาหากเธอมองทุกการเกิดมาที่มีอย่างลึกซึ้ง